So thank you very much again for coming. Ivy, Lance, Clark, Anel, Juen, Jerwin, and sorry, wala mo yung name sa inyong photo. So can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So if you have any concerns, so before we start, you can share it regarding our situation. I mean, our schedule is every 8:30 for both sections. So, and also we only meet synchronous every MWF 8:30. So asynchronous na ang TTH S. So yeah. So last time, yeah,
ma'am, nakoy ma'am. Karon po mo kasulod, ma'am. Nanak kay activity atag, ma'am.
yes, and have you opened na your Quipper account?
Sa booster, ma'am.
Yeah, actually,
Sa app.
yeah, this one this is my dashboard. So based on meron na tayong 3 assignments. First is the course guide, and we had in the first meeting we have discussed the course guide, and then the introduction. So there's still 3 and 2 in the other section na hindi pa nakapag-complete kasi makikita yan sa report, and sa introduction there are like also 2 out of 6, 3 out of 16, and so we still discuss on introduction and we're about to finish it. And sorry na send na ko in advance ang writing a research, supposedly research types and designs muna tayo, and some of you have already started. So isa ito ng pana kanina?
Ako, ma'am. Hijab.
Yes. So have you checked this already? These assignments?
Ako nang nagsirandaan mo.
Okay. And aside from that, may I remind you na aside from that, wait lang. Aside from that, we have also essays. So I have sent 3 for your prelim midterm final. So for your prelim, you're going to make a research proposal. This one, you just choose a research project and make a proposal and budgetary requirements. So in preparations, due date is still on August. No, and the other one is you review paper. This is your final. No, and your review paper, you're going to make a review paper in this following journal links, sample journal links. So you can have any journal links that you can have you can submit. So actually, if you can submit, the better. But if you still cannot, you can just follow their format. And then this is for your midterm, whether you just choose kung anong gagawin ninyo, PowerPoint ba or poster. Now, if PowerPoint ang gagamitin ninyo, then you do your research proposal, or if you have result of your research, for example, and also a poster of a review paper or any project or OIP in project, like you have like yung mga graduating, no, pwede ninyong hingin yung kanilang mga copies and you're going to make a poster out of it, no? Or you can have your own or any references as long as you're going to acknowledge them or cite them. So yun yung mga assignments, and actually we still have in your prelim, yan. So We are going to finish that one. In your midterm naman, may tatlo na naman kayong assignment to read on and your final last two. This is good for 2 months.
Excuse me, Ma'am Din.
Yes, Ivy.
Ma'am Din, na may concern about good sa kuan sa mga writings, Ma'am Din. Unsaon na mo pag-attach sa Quiper, Ma'am Din? Nag-aas pa man gud mi sa assistant sa Quiper, wa pa siya reply, Ma'am Din. Di man gud mi ka-attach. Biskan picture okay lang, pero ang kanang mga file gud din like Word, tapos Microsoft, ganyan din. Di mi kabalo.
Wala may perspective. So like for example, this one. Hindi man gud ko ka-open sa inyo ha, but then kuan man to ni Mark, no, gipakita niya sa kuha and nay nakabutang dito nga organic something something looks like this in ane. So pwede ninyo like kung na-save niyo sa Google Drive, i-link lang ninyo basta i-open niyo ang sharing or i-copy paste ninyo dali. Kaya wala man yun siya ano. But then I will also going to ask that ano wala sa like attachment. Supposedly dapat di ba na like sa Google Classroom. Or tama ba ko? So, inani ba inyo makita sa inyong ano sa inyong essay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Ma'am.
So, ang mahitabuan na like mag-link mo sa website, i-copy niyo, i-paste niyo dali ang inyong ang link, no, copy and paste here. So makita na diha and also or i-copy ninyo ang word or dili mo mag-type or i-paste. Then save.
Thank you, Ma'am Din.
Okay, so some more concern before we start. Okay. Check lang kung attendance. Okay, so okay, so we are actually here. Supposedly ito yung makita ninyo sa inyong ano Quiper Learn. So I'm just following this one. So last time we talked about the introduction to your research, and we talk about definition of research. We talk about the different parts of research and why the importance of research in every country and why do we have to communicate and what are the ways to communicate our researches. And also we talk about, of course, one, research journals, research reviews, what are those? What are short communications, conferences, and papers? So I shown you example of what I did, no? And thesis, what are those? Books and chapters, annual reports, working papers, newsletters, project proposals and reports, and also what you can see on those websites, blogs, and discussion groups. So I think we just stop on here, no? The technical content of any publication is very crucial to the understanding of its intended audience. So kailangan you know how to be a writer in a particular audience. Like for example, if you're a scientist, so yung audience mo are co-researchers or co-scientists, so the technicality of the paper also varies, no? When you become an extensionist, especially if you work on the Department of Agriculture or any agencies in the government not to assist the farmers, so you become technician. So iba din ang way mo of dealing your farmers, no? Or or if you become consultants. So I would encourage you to start your own publication as soon as possible, no, and especially if you come up with your OIP manuscript. So there are ways, not only researches are publishable, but also any write-up. That's why you're going to make a, a review paper right now, or it's just a write-up. No? So if you are fan of this one, and if you see yourself being a researcher or being a writer, so it's also about passion. If like me, always dreaming of become a writer, but I always have different paths. But even though I'm into administration right now and teaching, so ang passion ko for writing is still there but more technical. Kasi sometimes no, like no matter how much you like for example, kisagod dili ganahan mo kanta, no? Like singing, but then imong voice dili jud kakaya, ikaw lang ang nag ikaw lang ang kanang ano nagtuo nga kaya kay nimo. But then it's not really bad to think like that, no? Kasi it's just a matter of time na ma-perfect nimo or ma-acquire nimo ang imuhang talent, no? And it's always good to always hope for that. So if you are into writings and publications, so it's better to start right now as early as possible. So now how do we choose a journal? Kasi if you are a researcher, like for me 10 years ago, I had my first dissertation. It's entitled it's very long title, but it's about the effects of potassium fertilizer on the growth, development, even yield, and also functional components of pomelo. So, or Citrus maxima. So, and when I first published it, I was really um I didn't have any idea of what journal to choose. No, I even spent like 16,000 pesos just to pay for a publication fee. Kasi ganun talaga kamahal kapag mag-publish siya, especially sa mga reputable journal. They say reputable if you have heard of mga mga publications which are already very reputable na kanang, meaning 10 years or more na sila sa industry, like Willison's Willis, and what else, there are actually a lot, and most of them really charge a lot, no, like $1,000, and $1,000 is equivalent to 50,000 pesos. So that's too much. So but then there are also thousands of journals to choose from, and so this is a simple guide on what to choose or what journal to choose. So first is learn the scientific level of the journal. So like for example, there are which are very choosy, no, kanang gusto nila is, wait lang ha. Kadali. Nagklase ko ba? Maduwag ba ninyo? Ako Instagram.
Wala man kayo, ma'am.
So, yun nga, as I have said, sa ito kong ingon. Manani karon. So, yung scientific level of the journal, there are journals that are very choosy and gusto nila something new and something what do you call that term, kanang ganing ang result is there's a term for that but I just forgot, so I'm I'm going to go back on that later if I remember. So something kanang rewarding or never done before, kanang pangkuan na talaga, pang awarding na talaga ng mga results, no? So and so you should know yung coverage ng journal, and you will know that later sa kanilang mga website. So ano ang aims and scope of the journal? Like there are journal na ang scope nila ay Southeast Asia lang, or meron ding mga journal nga around the world, or meron ding journal na pang Philippines lang. And how often is the journal published? For example, yearly ilang publication, quarterly, or monthly. So mas mabilis yung monthly, no? And yung annually lang, ang tagal, no? It would take you 1 year para makapag-publish. And what types of articles does the journal publish? No, for example, ang coverage na ay agriculture, social science, medicines or medicals na publications, and so on. And are there any conditions to submitting the journal? So number one na consideration is yung payment, no? Kasi gano'n sa kamahal. And they've been accusing a lot of predatory journals. Why? Kasi, sorry. Kasi they thought na itong mga predatory journals will only like, they will only charge a minimal amount, no? Like maybe $100, which is already 2,000. So para lang makakwarta, and many of course scientists or writers or researchers would submit their journals, no? And there are even some journals na would even sacrifice the review process, no? Yung peer review para lang makakwarta, no? But you have to know that if for a journal to be a good journal, it has to be peer review journal. It means meron talagang ibang taong nagre-review niyan. And I'm also one of the reviewer in a journal. But being a reviewer, it's not paid. So it's just for free. But publishing an article, the writer should pay the charge. And there are also like journals that are free around the world, especially if they are sponsored, no? Like the UPLB na journal, the VSU journal, and even the RMC journal. No, we are free, and also, but then the school just pay for all the publication. So ayun, and next is the impact factor concept. So it's actually a measure of frequency with which an article in a journal has been cited in a given period. Now, for example, I have shown here kanina, ano yun? If you, kung maklaro ninyo, so I have here 16 citations. It means in this article, merong 8 co-authors nag-cite sa paper ko. It means they use my result in their paper, and 7 for this and 1 for this. So, yun lang ang ibig sabihin ng citations. So, if you are cited, it means your paper is very useful to them as a new idea. So, ganun lang ang example niya. And of course, it's really it's something to be proud of if your paper is known or will be acknowledged by other researchers as well. Although kahit lang mabasa lang yung paper mo, no, it's already very rewarding. So journals with a higher impact factor are considered to be of a higher rank and more prestigious than those with a lower score. So may scoring yun sila, which I'm going to show you on the next pages. And the impact factor for a journal is calculated based on a 3-year period. So if you are still a new journal, yung bago ka lang mura po nag-business ba nga bago lang gi-open or gi-put up. So it would take you 3 years para magkaroon ng impact factor. And this is computed as an average number of times published papers and also cited up to 2 years after publication. So, or impact factor in 2011 is equal to citations over publications. So, ganun ang pag-compute ng impact factor. So, how do you analyze this citation? So it's a bibliographic measurement that highlights the difference between producing a lot of average research papers and fewer good papers. So it's just mean kung the higher the impact factor, it means the higher ang usage ng papers mo, no, versus yung total na publish. Or an objective way of measuring the quality impact factor of a paper by charting on how many times it is cited by the researchers. So as you can see here, wait, hindi ko man lang ito na-explain pala kanina. So as you can see here, meron ditong H index. So, and it means number 2. So the higher the better. So it means that I have this much level of citation as well as publication. So going back pala here, so bawat audience, as I have said, have different, bawat papers have different audience. For example, if you're going to make a research paper, so your audience are researchers. And if you are into book chapters with technical content, so this is for technicians, students, extension workers as well. If you're going to make a research reviews, these are also for researcher, and for short communications, for researchers, and thesis for researchers, conferences, and for annual reports, these are for yung ating mga government and mga researchers also in the field. And newsletters are also for all researchers, student lecturers, extension agents, and even yung mga politician natin and mga farmers. And project proposal is for donors or yung ating funding agencies. So yung websites are for general public and mostly technical audience. So going back here, citation analysis. So the logic is the better the paper is, the more the people will cite it. No, so and this has been confirmed as a valid measure na of research quality or impact by many researchers. So yun yung trend. And although way back sa time nila Jose Rizal, because Jose Rizal is one of the known mga writers, no? And in his time, so ano nga yung book ni Rizal? Anyone? Ano yung book ni Rizal na Spanish title?
Ano ma'am, il filibusterismo and no limitang ire.
Yes. And what does it means?
The reign of greed and touch me not sa no limitang ire. Baguram ko na muna na ma'am sa Rizal na mo
Very good,
subject.
si Jerwin. Si Jerwin ba ka?
Yes po ma'am.
Very good kaayo. Okay, so anyways, going back here, you're published, but in this, as I have said, in their time, wala pang ganon, no? And as times pass by, so we have this so-called na mga impact factors, citation analysis. So your publishing objective should be to publish not only good quality papers, but also good quality papers that people will want to cite in good quality journal. So it must be so interesting, something new, knowledge, no, and or something useful to everyone. So I have here, ito chinare, ito ni Sir JP, diba? From Mark Balendres of UPLB. So these are notes on finding a journal for your manuscript. So there are considerations like preference, international ba gusto mo, and some they said Scopus here, but actually iba na ngayon, no? It's already kasi binili na nila yung ang Scopus, binili na ng another company. So Clarivate Analytics na sila ngayon. Clarivate. So as you can see in this data is for Philippines lang. Now there are a lot talaga of journals if you're going to search, no. And by the way, we can still go back to the same link if ever maputol tayo, ha, kasi we still have 9 minutes left. So kung maputol tayo, let's just go back on the same link para mag formally goodbye tayo or whatever. So ito yung mga ranks or impact factor ng bawat journals that are found in the Philippines. So we have the highest is the Asia Pacific Education Researcher. So actually, I just have heard this one ngayon, earlier. And all I know is the Philippines Journal of Crop Science and the Philippine Agricultural Scientist. Kasi nga, when I went to UPLB. So, ito yung mga impact factor nila. So, this is also a good thing to, ayan, kung meron sila mga reviewing fee, submission fee, publication fee, and or open access ka ba? So ano ibig sabihin ng open access, no? If meron kasi mga publication na kasi this is actually a business, no? When you journals are for business and in the sense that if you want to read their journal, you have to pay. If you're going to buy the printed one or the online version, kailangan magbayad ka. And if you are the writer, there are journals that are free for you as a writer, but there are also journals that really charge you that much, no? And lalo na pag ipa-open access fee mo, ibig sabihin lahat ng readers mo binayaran mo na. So, open access ka. So, and it would even cost as much as 100,000, diba? That's crazy. And what else here? Ayun. You also avoid predatory journals. So, but then there is no actually arbitrary scale for that. No, they have been only accusing that these are the list of predatory journals. It means that you can just submit your papers immediately when you pay without even passing through a rigid na mga reviews. So you are actually kanang compromising the quality of your paper, but it's not always like that, no. And for me in my own side, insight is mas actually lesser ang payment mo kapag you are in this type, as long as yung journal will really pass through a rigid na review process. So if they have none, so it means they are just up to, not the quality of the paper, but only up to money. So scientists should be encouraged to check before submitting to a journal that it is legitimate. And if a paper gets accepted very quickly and the journal asks for money, the alarm bell should start ringing. So according to Kendall. So ayun, no? And sometimes yung website nila mawawala na lang ng parang bula and yung payment mo walang nangyari, no? Yan. So after this actually is yung quiz na ninyo that you have to answer. You just have to click whether this is the answer and then answer away. Correct. And also next, there are actually about 3 questions here. So you have to attend on that. So next, actually, so do you have any question about finding a journal? Then we'll proceed with our research types and designs, since this is just very the first portion is just yes, let's just watch list first. So yeah, so this is about the types of research. Yan, the types of research which have we have here. Wait, no. Yan. So the type of actually research which are
Nawa sila. Ano ko da?
exploratory,
Oh,
exploratory,
Nasliog no.
descriptive, explanatory,
Yung tulasa
and
to.
evaluation. We have two types of researches: design, quantitative, and qualitative. Yan. So we will know here if by the way,
Kita sa kog. Udlot sili. Yawa katuloy.
Gab, naka-open imong mic, Gab. Saba kay ka.
kinsa day na siya si
Daw kabantay ma'am. Natilasan ko ma'am. Katoy ko.
so better na i-ano sa ninyo ang inyong sa tawag. Okay, so when we say descriptive research, okay, nakakuan mo gani. So when we say descriptive research, it's answers the what and wait lang, start us sa exploratory. Yan. So these are the types of research: exploratory, descriptive, explanatory, and evaluation. So it answers the question what if it's exploratory, and if descriptive, it's what and how, and if it's explanatory, explain the social phenomena by answering the question what, how, and why. Evaluation, if it is measures the effectiveness of the program. So that's why you can see a lot of evaluation na mga questionnaires. So, and that is part of the research already. So we have research, those are types. Now we have designs and two only, qualitative and the quantitative. In the quantitative, these are research that emphasize the use of numbers and statistics, analyze and explain social events and human behavior. So yun ang coverage niya. And secondary, the analysis of existing data or secondary data. And experimental design is one of the quantitative. It's a design, going back to experimental, it's a design that attempts to discover the cause and effect relationship between two variables. And what are these variables? We have independent, or which cause changes in the dependent variable, and the dependent variable is the one which has the effect or change, and in between them are intervening variable. And control group should be subjects that are not without effect. So we have the Hawthorne effect. or the phenomenon, past case siya, where subject's behavior is influenced by the fact that they are being studied. And we have experimental group. When you have your study, so it means they are the one with treatments. So we also have survey research, yung mga questionnaire, and we said it's a population when they are subject to research, and we say samples if it's just a what do you call that, a portion of what is being studied. So we're less than a minute, and after ito let's just go back to the link ha. So pag qualitative naman siya, research, tas pasa ba? So pag qualitative naman siya, is use systematic observation and focuses on the meanings of people give to their social actions. So more on qualitative siya, observation lang, no? And like the ethnographic interview, no, you just have set of questionnaires or participant observation. Ikaw mismo nag-observe